A long drive in the city of dreams, Mumbai. Talented singer Siddharth Basrur by your side and his music playing on the stereo. This is when I could have sung aloud Gum Hue. Yes, this song from the Bollywood film David has been sung by Siddharth Basrur, the man driving this car right now. The talented Mr. Basrur, however, is also quite a hit on the independent music circuit and is the frontman of the band Goddess Gang. I am Suhail Banerjee, an amateur musician trying to make sense of the music around me. I do it with my show Beet Street on Mumbai's first English community channel CityFirst. One of these days, I spent an afternoon with Siddharth Basrur, talking, driving around with him and of course, listening to his music.
Feel just right and I feel just fine when you're lying next to me. Don't wake me up from this dream. Please just let me be. Now you may not know how I feel inside, but you will know when the time is right. You light up my life. You light up my life. The first song I ever composed was in like probably 2002 or 2001. I'd say it was 2001. I had a band called Kinky Ski Monkey back then, and we had our first EP. It was called R, just the letter R,
Okay.
small in quotes, I remember, and it was really badly produced back then. But we were really proud of it, and I'm still very proud of it. I mean, that was my first EP ever, my first record ever. So I'm still very proud of it. And there was a song called "This One's for the One I Love." So like this one in brackets for the ones I love actually. And that was the first song I ever composed fully, like the vocal melody, guitar parts, etc. And yeah, then after that I kind of the band broke up and I stayed away from the scene, and I started composing a lot of my own music then. So I started taking more interest in the guitar. Earlier I used to just come up with like vocal melodies, and depending on what the guitarist would write, the guitar parts.
Okay.
But yeah, then I started discovering a lot of new chords. I started experimenting, and it's still very simple, very basic music, but for me it was a step up.
Siddharth is famous for his soaring voice and an electrifying stage presence. I personally find it fascinating to watch him in his goddess gagged avatar. like to sing Bollywood numbers? Is it easy, difficult, or just a monetary and visibility requirement?
Bollywood, when I'm in the studio, when I'm singing for an ad or a Bollywood song, it's very different because I get to learn a lot from the music director. You get to learn to evolve. It basically helps me evolve as a musician, helps me adapt. So in that way, it's awesome. I mean, I like doing both things equally. If you ask me to choose, it's like you want to cut your left arm off or your right arm off. As an independent musician, there's only so much you can do here, especially when you're just starting out. There's only so much money you can make, and if you got to support yourself, you need to make at least a decent living here to pay the bills and stuff. Doesn't want to stray from the way he's composed it. So if he's used certain inflections and certain modulations and certain ways, he wants to make sure that I've done that way. And so in a lot of times I have to unlearn what I know, what comes to me naturally, so that I can do it their way.
At home with both metal and Bollywood, Siddharth made it clear that he wants to explore all possible genres. And this made me want to know his space a little better. I wanted to see where and how he grew up, what were his influences, and who were the people around him.
I remember one of my earliest memories was in this corner. There used to be a rocking chair, which I used to love sitting on. Giving an interview at this place called Jam Jar Diner in Warsaw, and there was non-stop Harry Belafonte playing.
Where is this place from?
This place on Warsaw, the main Warsaw road. This used to be my room. There used to be at one point there was a normal bed here, and then later we inherited a bunk bed from someone else. So I used to love sleeping on top.
Okay.
Yeah. And my parents' room was on the left. I mean, over here. My grandparents' room was over here. Head over heels like a clown. Can't slow down. Towards your direction, hope you'll stick around. I will not look back, will stay true. Pretty much.
Listening to music back in school as well?
Yeah. I've grown up listening to a lot of music. We used to have a lot of records which are still there. Some of my earliest memories are listening to everything from Kishore Kumar to Harry Belafonte. I don't listen to as much anymore, but yeah, when I was growing up, these artists that I just mentioned had a lot of influence. You believe it when you see me waiting right here for you.
Most of the songs sung by Siddharth are composed and written by him. And interestingly, Siddharth dropped out of college and later trained himself to be a sound engineer.
I wanted to be a singer. I just want to be a vocalist in a band. I tried out a couple of bands, didn't work. And finally, this friend of mine, Rohit Pereira, who's quite a famous musician now, is like everyone knows him as P-Man. Like, so he called me up and asked me if I wanted to be a part of a band called Kinky Ski Monkey.
Kinky Ski Monkey.
Yeah, at that time it wasn't really, we didn't have a name back then. But yeah, the name came around later. It happened much later. I mean, they're actually a bunch of kids, yeah. So, I mean, we're not even in the same age group. They're like the second oldest member in the band is also like a good 9-10 years younger to me. So, and there are even younger, the members even younger than him. So, yeah, it was, I mean, we played a few gigs together. I mean, and I'm not discounting their age for the fact that they're brilliant musicians, all of them. And so we've played a few shows. Like I had another band called Dog Eat Disco. So we played a couple of shows together, and I came to know the guitarist Arman, who used to also sing in the band at that time. And yeah, so it just happened that, you know, we said we should collaborate on some music at some point. And then Dog Eat Disco died off. These guys, God Is Gagged also kind of, like they played a few shows here and there. And then finally they got this show and they asked me to do a couple of songs with them. So I said, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. And it turned out really well. Like the jams went off really well. The gig went off really well. It's probably one of the most fun gigs I had. And like that gig was on my birthday.
Oh.
It was on my 29th birthday, I remember. And great way to celebrate my birthday. So yeah, and then I remember Devesh, he also joined much later. Devesh is the youngest member of the band. He also plays for a band called Sky Harbor, which is doing pretty well right now. It's a brilliant band. And yeah, he asked, I distinctly remember him asking me, so you want to do this like permanently? And I was like, hell yeah, of course, why not? I mean, I had a great time doing it, so
that's how you like...
Yeah, so that's how I joined God Is Gagged. Then we won Strawberry Fields in Bangalore, and then we got into the finals of a bunch of other college competitions, IIT Bombay, IIT Chennai. So yeah, that's how we kind of took off. And yeah, then now we obviously stopped competing. We opened for Guns N' Roses last year. We opened for this really awesome band from the UK called Monuments at IIT Kharagpur this year. And yeah, I mean, we've done a bunch of shows. And
Siddharth played a song from his latest album for us. The song is called Lifting the Veil. It is a must hear to appreciate how far this multifaceted musician has come. No more words then. Let there be Lifting the Veil.
once you're in that way that you feel, we can move on from here. Just say the word and we'll set sail. Step by step we'll find a way out into nothing. Ain't that something? Lifting say you need more time, so come take it all mine. I'll give it all to you, just so you lay down your arms, 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 lay down your arms.
Like all good things, the afternoon comes to an end. But not before he gives us a ride through the streets he grew up in.
Yeah, some of my oldest memories are like walking down from home to Five Gardens with my mom and dad in the evening on weekends especially to go and play there in that park. And I remember a couple of times my grandmom going with me and buying me like a helium balloon, and then I left it and I watched it go away and then I cried because I wanted to get it back and I couldn't get it back. I must have been like 3 or 4 years old at that time. Some of my earliest memories.
A well-spent musical day draws to a close, but it leaves me wondering whether music is actually an end in itself or a search for our past, for ourselves in that past. And probably we are all moving in circles, going back and forth over the same places we start from.
Very polluted.
Interesting.